against children is a pervasive problem that affects large numbers of children in South Africa. Yet, child abuse and neglect is largely underreported. An Eastern Cape study found that when asked, 89% of young women and 94% of young men said that they had experienced harsh physical punishment, and almost 40% were sexually abused before the age of 18. But most did not report these incidences of abuse. My name is Pule Mulebati. A warm welcome to you. Today, we take a trip down memory lane with Bob McKay, who was abused by his father as a child. Bob shares about his ordeal and how he has turned that experience into something positive.
Caring for our children was a dream our late Dada had for our nation. Having just celebrated Mandela Month, Bophelong continues to share stories of those who triumphed against horrible childhood experiences and now helping those who find themselves in similar situations. Bob McKay grew up in Cape Town and has had his fair share of bad childhood struggles.
Growing up, I did experience my own issues. I had a father that came back from the war who was, well, people said a bit shell-shocked or whatever it was. They never got a proper debriefing. They were brought back into the communities as the people well, anyway. And of course he had serious issues. So as a young child, I saw an abusive father. And in those years, I stood up.
Abused as a child by his father, later after he got his intervention, Bob gained courage to start a campaign against child abuse.
I started getting involved in Soweto. And I believe once I got going in Soweto in the 70s, I realized that this was my calling. And I was taking educational programs and seeing the need to better educate the children. And well, a long story short, it just built up from there until eventually it had to be a calling.
Now known as Jabulani, which means happiness, Bob only wanted to bring happiness to others.
Especially when I started this campaign against child abuse, which is the root cause of all abuse, all ongoing abuse. When any child or anyone is abused and is not properly addressed, it then just continues and it worsens. And it worsens, and it leads to drug abuse, leads to all the mind-altering substances and issues that the youth are then falling into.
Seeing that working with children, he had to involve the parents, Bob's little book communicates with both child and parent.
The concept is educate. Ed is a little white boy, U is a dotted figure, and Kate is a little Zulu, Shangaan, you name it. And so kids draw themselves in there, becoming part of the stories. And even though there's a range of books, especially the introduction to Ed and Kate, born in the African bushveld, from fathers who worked together as game rangers in our beautiful bushveld, looking after the wildlife. And they were both born just days apart. And they are now so united as a brother and a sister virtually. The first little book is from age 4 to 7 years old. But that little book is working with parents. It's working with grandparents. It's working for people who are still living today with issues they haven't dealt with.
Bob has walked through tough shoes trying to get the book to those who need it most.
People have said to me, give it up, Bob, they don't want it. I've jumped those little kids in their teenage years, and I did my own research on HIV/AIDS. The material I put together was not only appraised by 5 of the top professors and doctors on HIV who were amazed at my book on HIV/AIDS, but one of the professors sent it up to it was then in 1993, to the northern province somewhere, where there was a meeting of all the traditional healers and shongomas of Africa. And my material, that little book on abuse, and some of the material I gave in a bit on the one on AIDS, they said, get this into the hands of the people, all our people, through Africa.
Despite the challenges Bob faced, he says he will continue to fight for the freedom of our young leaders by reading to them his book, One Child at a Time.
The cure, there is a cure. And I know the cure is love. And so many people weren't getting love. They never knew love. They never knew what love was. They couldn't spell love. And as I say in the book, every one of us should have someone we love and trust that we can tell everything to. And that is something that is so vital.
Healing the nation is Bob's core purpose.
Like when you go home. I know when I was young, the big story was stranger danger. Don't talk to strangers. Don't, watch out. Strangers, they are. It's lies. Because 90% of abuse, of all forms, is not happening with strangers. It's happening with people you know. Be it a child, a teenager, an adult. It's happening with people you know. So how do you get to address that? It's easier to help children, as I do. I stress so much. It's easier to help a child at a young age than to help someone who's broken at an older age.
Love and patience being his key fundamentals to building a peaceful nation, Bob McKay walks his talk step by step.
Bob's book, titled Stop Child Abuse, is found online and social media platforms. Let's take a short break. We are back with more stories of survivors of child abuse after this. Welcome back to the show. With me, Pule Mulebatsi. An orphanage in Hammanskraal, Northern Gauteng, provides more than just a shelter and a home for victims of child abuse. Our producer, Nombuso Mahlangu, visited the orphanage to hear how they provide aid for children who fall victim of all sorts of abuse.
Lucas is a 21-year-old from Hammanskraal. His beautiful smile and love for dogs makes the children he guards day in and day out at the Ebenezer House of Hope feel safe. 8 years ago, Lucas found himself without his parents and being the elderly one to care for his younger siblings.
Kwaya ne ke betha straight esinganyane ne ke shapiwa, yeah, and then after me se no re tloela ke tla ikabana le anger ile ya re why me sentse re tlohele and then a tsamaye without re botsa re o ya kae, yeah, let's so ka thomo bana le anger.
He says walking through the Ebenezer House of Hope gates relieved him from a lot of unresolved pain.
Ne ke le ngwana school ebile ke le parent at the same time. What I'm on to see because no ke bile ke bereka ona mo hape, and then bana ba kwa ya ba ko mamolo aka ebile mma ka o bile a re shia, so no bana ba ko mamolo aka, and then le nna ke felenze ke isa bunyane bo ke bo tshwereng ona ko mamolo aka or at least ba kgone kra borotho mo tafoleng.
Closing and opening the doors of hope for orphan children has a lot of significance for Lucas.
Zona dia tlhokagala because ona le bana ba bang ba ile re vele abana di parents tse loreng di ba treata good, and then so aba le mo HOH mo ba kgone o feel as if like they are home, and then ba kgone ho hola sharpo, and then ba boe ba belotse ba nyoko ba ntsona.
Looking back, Lucas is very grateful.
Krator ke a leboga ka mo go bang hodisitseng ka teng, and then isa ba fela rena ba ba re hodisitseng ba re tluile mo pele le bana ba saleng ba ba tshware ka mo go dentse ba re tshwere before.
Like any child, Lucas had his own dreams.
Nana ke rata o ira like a vet, yeah, doctor ya di animals, yeah, that was my dream. Le no yana ke bolela so ke ruile ke na le dinja ka mola tse 3 tse le reng di tlhokometse ke dinja tsa ka, and then engwe ke hodisitse le yona e thomile le nna ke dula mo. It was 2009.
Better and no longer bitter, Lucas says he has made peace with his past and moving on to a greater future.
My advice is gore how hodisa ngwana o mmetha and then go like arahani seholo se boletse sa re lo tlwa le metsi mara nna ke bona o betha ngwana e so mo thusa because wa mmetha o mo etsa felt and then o holana le anger. Yeah, o holana le anger and then mo holana le anger go ra bona motho mo lo mong o bona as enemy. Yeah, le nna ke bile so le nna ntse ke dula na mona ke na le anger e lo reng ne ke sa tshepo re nka tswa ke hodile ka change.
Bishop Philip Mukwera is a founder of the Ebenezer House of Hope. Founded 7 years ago, this home of hope was incepted from a bishop that also has a similar story as those of the orphans he houses.
Ebenezer House of Hope came as a response to the need. During those days, we had about 18 orphans in the church, and personally in my family, I had about 8 that were directed to me.
The bishop says he has observed a thread of similarities on the abused children that come to the House of Hope.
Most of the kids, when you meet them, are fearful, they are withdrawn. Most of them, especially the girls, they were afraid of men. And then, obviously, kids who has been, especially those who are a little bit older, you have so unruly, they are so, you know, most of orphans, they are touchy, short-tempered, they are angry. And then some of them, they will try to escape, run away because they don't want to be in one place. They feel as if they are imprisoned.
But also, as a House of Hope, they have found ways to try heal these children.
I think, number one, most of them, they love to be belonging. Like we would ask people time to time to take them from the church, like weekends, you take them to your home, just go to town with your children and just entertain them. And some, those who can, to keep them for a weekend. They love to go out of this place, to go and meet other people, have a different environment. That one, they need love to be acceptance. And most of them, they love to have father figures, you know. They love heroes because most people who are working with orphans is women.
Balancing being a father to over 20 orphans and being a church leader, the bishop's motive was from a place of pure love.
My background plays a role because, of course, I never grew with my both parents. My mother was there, but she was always out there. So I knew I needed also a shoulder to cry to. So I wanted to make somebody, to give somebody what I could not get. A love that I could not get, protection that I could not get. We had to protect ourselves at the early age of our lives because of the challenges of the bullies and all these things. And then we used to wish someone to be my father, someone to be my uncle, because of when you see them walking on the street, you envy them that, wow, I wish this man could have been my father. I wish this man could have been my uncle. So that keeps me going.
From the story we just played, it's evident that vocalizing any sort of abuse is the first step to receiving help. It takes community to protect the future of South Africa, our children. Let's take a break. We are back with more shortly. Welcome back to the last leg of our show. Today, we are sharing multiple voices of survivors of child abuse who are now making a contribution in their own way to try and stop child abuse. The family in this next insert asked to remain anonymous due to the severity of their case. The young girl was just only 8 years old when she was raped by a family friend. Let's have a look at their story.
The 10th of August 2014 was when a Johannesburg family witnessed a rape case. The family asked not to be identified for safety reasons. Layla was 8 when she was countlessly raped.
So the time he took her, it was in an open field, right? And it was from one tree to the other tree. He took her from one tree and like he was hitting and smacking and beating her around, he pulled her towards the other tree. And then he says, you better take off your clothes now. It was in the heart of the winter, it's on the 10th of August. It's freezing cold. She had to take off everything she had and he did what he wanted with her. And at that time, she said she couldn't even cry because she didn't even know what was happening. And she said, but uncle, why are you hurting me? You are hurting me. Stop doing what you're doing, I'm going to tell my mother. And that's when he said to her, just because of it, I'm going to kill you now. He had intentions to kill her. He wasn't going to just leave her like that because first of all, he knows her. She knows him. He knows us. He knows our family. He grew up with us. He was someone that came into our house. He even had to get, when I would come from Checkers or Pick and Pay with grocery bags, he's that very same man that will help me carry my groceries into my house.
8-year-old Layla was told that she was going to meet her father, not knowing what lay ahead of her.
Trusting somebody, going with somebody, thinking that you're going to be safe and then end up being hurt the way she was hurt. I think multiple counts of rape, if you look at it, it's anally, it's vaginally, it's orally, the things he made her do. No person in their right mind would let a child do something like that, something so cruel.
Layla's mother is more amazed by her daughter's bravery.
I don't think any adult person would have gone through what she has gone through that day. It's somebody she knew, somebody she trusted, she thought she could trust. And he knew her very well. He knew her ins, he knew her outs, he knew everything about her.
Today, they are pleased that the law has served them with justice as the perpetrator was deservingly sentenced.
The judge was so conservative, he said, I'm going to make an example of you. And we didn't expect that to happen. Justice was served to the maximum.
The family had to change a lot of things. As a mother, Lyra can only be there for her daughter.
She just turned 11 now. But there's still times when she gets up and she gets these nightmares. The way she reacts during the night towards her brothers, the whole family has changed because of this ordeal.
The trauma cannot be explained.
It really has broken us completely. We're not the same family anymore. It's like he hasn't just raped her, he raped us all. Because we all have our own story to what to say, how it hurt us. We all have our own different part in this. We all could have done something to stop it happening.
Layla and her family are going through therapy helped by the Teddy Bear Clinic, taking it one day at a time. Lou Marie Kruger, being a rape survivor, took a bad experience and torment to change it to empower young women and children across South Africa. Her story is now to inspire and empower.
I grew up in a very stable, loving family that was based on good morals, values, with a good sense of humor. I think it's very important for all kids going through trauma to realize that no matter what your family foundation is that bad things happen to all people.
Because of her family background, Lou Marie thought no form of abuse could happen to her.
20 years ago, I was raped, and it wasn't that it was just I ran away from home. It was just a spur of the moment teenage thing that I did. I was raped by an Australian that was backpacking through our country.
Having to go through the experience to understand it, Lou Marie quickly removed herself from the stigma and chose to be a survivor.
Rape, child abuse, women abuse doesn't have a color, and it doesn't pick someone. These things happen in all societies, everywhere. Rape happens and child abuse happens in every kind of culture.
She is well-founded on her beliefs.
I need to elaborate to all women and to all children that has been through an ordeal like this, that you do not have to hide this. It is okay to speak up. It is okay to tell someone that I have been raped, because the therapy after that is probably the most important thing to go on to.
She also outlined a crucial key point to dealing with abuse.
You have to go for therapy. You cannot just be quiet about this. You cannot just stay quiet and think that if I keep quiet, this will move on, because it won't. It will affect the rest of your life. It will affect every single relationship in your life. You have to speak up. You have to go for the therapy that goes apart with this.
HR manager by day and life coach after hours, Lou Marie leads a life of accepting every day as it comes.
I also believe that I am a statistic, but I'm not a statistic of whatever my traumatic situation was. I'm a statistic of making a difference.
Lou Marie believes that it all happens for a greater reason.
I believe hope is the only thing stronger than fear. I step up. No matter where you are in life, no matter what has come onto your path, because everybody's got a story. No matter where you've been in life, everybody's got a story. I believe that hope is the only thing stronger than fear.
Fear is just an empty substance for Lou Marie. Let's speak up and speak out from any form of abuse.
Once again, it takes a village to raise a child. Let's all stand together for the rights of our children. After all, they are the future. From myself and everybody here at the SABC headquarters, it's a goodbye.